when I, stepped foot coming out of college, nothing was digitized. It was all still big blueprints and like, here's your not great PDF. And from there, it's just changed so much. We have purpose-built tools. We have things that are made for what people are trying to do instead of trying to slide technology that doesn't really fit and shove it into a new box to meet our workflows. Ron, how about you? How's that all shaping up at your organization?
It's really taken hold. You think about, like you said, Eric, the days of plans on projects, big rolls of plans on projects, that they're gone for the most part.
Yeah.
So what we do with our apprentices is, all of our apprentices for the last 4 years, they're getting iPads. So everything is digital. All our curriculum's digital. We just redid our reading plans and specifications curriculum, and that's all 100% digital. All the plans are going to view through Autodesk Construction Cloud, and the specifications, submittals, etc. So technology is not going away. We either have to adapt and teach the next generation, or we fall behind, really.
And in the digital first approach that you're talking about right now, I'm really encouraged to hear, because when you set people up from the start with that, they carry that to the projects that they're going to, they carry that to their employers. And I think there's an expectation by many of the younger people coming in that if you don't have these things, you're not necessarily going to be an interesting employer to them when they're looking at the full ecosystem, where you see only paper-based or somebody who's got, drone technology and iPads and everything's digitized. If somebody's a tech-savvy person or interested in becoming one, it's very easy to see the lean that they're going to take in that direction. And I'm curious, you work with all these big organizations, of course, when you're placing all this talent. Is there more demand? What is the expectation for the apprentices that you're training at this point now? Do they require those skills, or is it still kind of a nice to have?
No, I'm going to say nowadays they require it. But let's face it, the kids, they've grown up with iPhones and iPads, so swiping left, right, they're used to that. That's nothing new for them. So really, I think the burden is on us to make sure, as you mentioned earlier, that we have the curriculum that excites them, motivates them, and moves things forward. So no, it's really exciting times right now to deal with apprentices, to get apprentices in, to attract apprentices.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I mean, I think Ken and I think we can probably say this. We look at technology and what it's done to our industry, the construction industry, and it's really evolved. And you look at whether it's robotic total stations, 3D laser scanners, all that technology. The construction schedules of projects these days have gotten a lot less. I've been in the trade for 30 plus years, and I think when I started, it was schedules were really, really long.
It was crazy. Design, bid, build only. That was like just the approach. It was very different.
Yeah, exactly. But we're still doing the same amount of work in less time. And if we don't, you think of that younger generation, if we don't show them these tools, I mean, that brings them to us, these technologies, and because we're not drawing things on paper anymore. If you can show them whether it's using an iPad, whether it's using a number of different technologies that are out on the project, that's going to generate interest.
And I think Ever probably tires a little bit about talking about the labor challenges and labor shortages, but especially in construction, it's so important that we have to talk about it. You can't not talk about that elephant in the room, because in 5 or 10 years, the problem is only going to worsen. And so with that said, at least that's my opinion, how's technology fit into that part of the conversation? Is it helping improve the challenges we're having with labor, or how does the relationship there help possibly solve some of those challenges?
So I want to say the UA is really looking at the idea that if we can get more people trained on the software, they already know the trade, right? They know the skill set. So if we can get them trained to do the digital drawing, we're actually going to save labor hours, which obviously releases a little of the pressure of the labor shortage. But we have to get our people in those seats. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think, the technology is obviously going to help the labor shortage or the process of the job. So we have to, like Ken said, we have to train our people that are, have the knowledge, because not everybody can do these, use these technology advances that are out there, whether it's, an iPad's one thing, but to use a robotic total station or a 3D laser scanner and do all that processing, you got to have knowledge. So I think it's extremely critical that we as my organization, the ITI, or the organization I work for, and I believe Ken and the UA is in the same boat. We have to train these individuals, and we have to provide them this training to be successful and help our contractors be successful. Bottom line is, our contractors are going to continue to, bid these projects. We have to make sure we have the workforce that's capable of doing the projects.